let's get started here. So we're going to go ahead and let's take a look at our BS&A records first, and then we'll go into Realist. There's quite a few things in Realist I want to get you through. So for BS&A, you can search a property and then use the link, the quick action link, and pull BS&A records right from there. So I'm going to type in an address in my Power Search toolbar here at the top. So I'm going to type in one of my listings. It's 49079 Berkshire, and you're welcome to pull any property that you would like. I'm going to go ahead and select this. One thing with BS&A I do find is that if you find a property and it's more in a rural area, sometimes the records are limited, so there is not a link for BS&A to get you in there. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this property in Chesterfield, and I'm going to open up my full agent report. If I'm going too fast or if I lose anyone, again, you can chat or put your hand up, and I'll try to make sure everyone follows along. So here's the listing. I'm in a legacy full agent report. And if you look on the left side of your screen, you have these quick action links. And the very last one, this is your BS&A. It's supposed to be a pillar, looks like a trash can. We're trying to get them to change it, but you want to click on this, and it's actually going to pull you into BS&A and pull all the information on that property for you. Okay. So once it loads, it should give you a photo, some information about the owner, and some information about the property itself. As you scroll down a little further, you have tabs. It's broken down into sections for you. So the first section is the property information. And as you scroll through there, you'll have the owner and taxpayer information. A great way to check if it's not owner occupied. You can see where the owner taxes are being sent to. So it should have the address of where they currently live. General information about the property, your homestead exemption. It does give the last 3 years of your tax information, more land information, your legal, anything about the land, your sales information, more about the interior and exterior of the house, more detailed information again about the house as you go down, all the way down to the bottom. So that gives you everything you need about the house itself. So if you're doing a listing, I would highly suggest you go through BS&A to confirm the information. Realist is a great source, but it is a third party. So they are taking the information from the tax records and inputting it. So there's always room for error. And again, BS&A isn't always perfect either. I've found many errors in there too, so same thing, but I would double check your information here. As you scroll back to the top, you do have your next tab, which will give you tax information. And once that loads, we can take a look at legal again here, and if you go down a little bit further, here's your tax history. Now, the one thing which is really good information here is you can open up each section of these taxes and see how it's broken down to and what they're actually, what the millage rates are. So for example, my 2019 winter taxes, if I click on this arrow here to the left, it's going to show the information, school district, the taxable value, it is homestead. And as I go down further, it's now going to break down my actual bill for me. So you can see what they're paying and how it's being broken down for their millage rate. Same thing with their summer tax bill. So this I find is really good information. And again, that's just through here. Now, I do also find that if, for example, they had a lien, it could be maybe a water bill unpaid, that you will see that in here also. Because I have seen some of these taxes where all of a sudden you see a huge jump in the taxes. And I found a few that either water bill, they had a $1,000 bill, or there were pre-existing taxes that were not paid, or a lien that was not paid and it was now attached. So you will see that information in here somewhere. Okay. Alrighty, so let's go back to the top here. And to the right, you've got the building department. So if you select building department, this is where you can see if permits have been pulled, if they've done any updates, what's been done, what's been approved, what has not been approved. So again, here's your information, tells you the permit type. And if you click on view, you can actually view the information about it. So it'll tell you what was done. So it could be electrical, these were closed, so these were done, these were actually closed, these were finalized. So they did the approvals here on whatever work that was done. And they've done updates on this house, so I know they had quite a few permits pulled. Okay, and if we go back to the top, utility bill information, this is their water bill. So if they're not paying their water bill or it's past due, you will see it in here. This also shows their sewer bill too. So some cities have individual sewer and water, some are combined together. And it gives you the history of what the bill was, when it's been paid, if it hasn't been paid, and so forth. So all this information here. And same thing with these, if you open up the arrow to the left, it will let you know if there's any other information of items that were paid or included that were attached to the bill, the lien. Okay. I know, Matt, you had asked about additional land contract or other documents, and obviously with this one, I don't see much of anything here. I'm wondering if under building department, because there is an area for attachments, if these items would be also placed in here. I will definitely look into that after the class and get more information to you about it and see where else we can locate it for you. Okay, so that is your BS&A. So two ways to get here. I can go in from Paragon, go directly from the listing itself, and select this link. Now, if you don't find the link and you still need to get in there and find information, you can go up to text, over to BS&A online, and that will allow you to select the county, and then you can select the city. So I can type in here, I can actually just click on any of these letters. So if I want M for Macomb County, it takes you right down to Macomb, and you can scroll down and see which city you need. You can select the city from here, and it just takes you to the main page where you can now type in an address, or if you don't know the full address, you can always put the owner's name. Okay, you can also use a parcel number, but most people don't have that in hand. So any questions about BS&A?
We just had one. Where would I find if there are unpaid assessment bills?
That will also be in here. It should be under, in BS&A, it's typically under your building department, and where the attachments are, usually you'll see the additional liens in here. So there might have a sidewalk repair or street repair. I've seen those placed in here. Any other questions?
Good so far. Oh, Roger said thank you.
No problem. Okay, so let's go back and let's work on Realist now. Realist has quite a few things I want to take you through. If you've used Realist before and you haven't been in there recently, they have made some changes, so it will look completely different. So we're going to walk through all that today. I'm going to go ahead and close out and go back to Paragon. So with Realist, again, just like BS&A, you have two ways of getting it. I can go directly from the property. For Realist, I believe every single property in here has a Realist link. Now, whether or not it has a lot of information or not, that you won't know until you go in there. Again, rural areas, I do find it is limited. They're always working on getting more information, but they may not have it at that time, or it might be very limited information. So, but to get here from the listing itself, if your listing is still open, you can go back to your Paragon, and you're going to go to those quick action links, and we're going to select the Realist property detail. It's a red quick action link. If you are on the agent listing with a full map, it has the map up here. Usually have these links in your center area. So you should find that red one with Realist right in there somewhere. So I'm going to go ahead and select that. Now the new thing that they did change, which is great, is that we don't have to use Flash anymore. Before, when you would select it, you would get your error about Flash. They are no longer using Flash for Realist. So that should hopefully make it a little bit easier for loading, because I find that it used to take forever to load items. Okay, so once you do click on your link, it is going to take you now to the property information, and you can see my owner information at the top again, location information, your tax records, your assessments for the last 3 years, and now you get into the characteristics of the property. And again, you'll see a lot of empty fields. They don't have everything in here, but they do have enough usually for me to check what I need for the most part. So square footage and bedrooms and so forth. And then if these are new, you've got features, and then you have these sell scores. So now they're starting the sell score. If you've used some of the other websites out there, they're now trying to give you an idea if these people are have a good chance of selling, you know, depending on the market, how long they've been in the house, how much they owe on the house. They use a bunch of different statistics and come up with these numbers. How well these numbers work, I'm not quite sure. I really haven't gone by them and tried to reach out to any of these people, but I know there's agents out there using it. So this one says that they're rated at moderate level of selling. Well, they've already sold, so, but they have not recorded the new sale, so that's probably what they're looking at. This estimated value, I'd like to explain this. So it gives you this real AVM, it's an automated value. And to come in here and just say, yeah, it's worth about 253, I wouldn't bet on this. I would definitely run the comps yourself and take a look at those numbers. This range is pretty good. It gives you an average of the area. But what they're saying with this real AVM, you see this confidence score and their forecast, they're saying there's 72% confident that this property will sell within actually 6% of this real AVM. So they have this odd statistic that they use. I'm not sure how they come up with it, but that's what that is. But again, the range is always great to see. Listing information. So it should show myself as a listing agent on it. And I'm going to scroll down further. This information is really helpful. It shows some market sales, sales history, and any mortgage information. So this is the last sale that we just completed on it. But if I go down further, I can now see my client's mortgage. If this is property that my buyer's writing an offer on, I can see what the mortgages that he's taken out. So if I see that there's a first and second, and there's quite a bit to load, I can't see what the balance is now. I can see the amount they took out. So you can kind of estimate how many years it's been back. But if you do see a large amount still in there, then you'll probably know there isn't as much to work with as far as negotiating on the price, but some ideas. If there's any foreclosure information, share of sales, anything of that sort, that will all show up at the bottom here in your foreclosure history. So it does give you quite a bit of information. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to take you back to the top, and I'm going to show you how you can run comps. Now, running comps in Realist is beneficial for one reason that I see is because it's pulling tax records and MLS data. So what we're getting is all the for sale by owners as well as everything sold in the MLS. So I find this very helpful, especially if you find there's not many comps in the area of a property you're running. This is a great way to find at least the for sale by owners in the area. So I'm going to scroll back to the very top of my screen, and you're going to have a tab that says comparables, and that's going to pull us right into Realist to start working on the comps right from here. So if you used this before, there used to be 5 tabs. They've removed some. The second tab here says comparables. That's where we want to go. So we're going to select comparables, top left of your screen, and give it a second to load here. Debbie, am I okay on questions?
We are good so far. Thank you.
Okay, no problem. I do find it still takes a little time to load. And again, it's pulling MLS and tax records, so that might be one of the reasons why there's such a lag time. Once this does load, it actually is going to automatically pull some comps for us, and I'm going to walk you through modifying those comps and adjusting your search criteria. That'll be the next step. Here we go. Okay, so as this loads, we should be seeing our map. And once you see the map, you'll see colored numbers all appear. Those are going to be the properties, and they'll coincide the numbers with the list. Close from here. I have to try this one. Oh, there it goes. Again, just be patient. Sorry, it's a good time to go grab a cup of coffee while you load. Okay, so here we go. So we've got our map in the top left corner. And again, you can see the numbers that are appearing here, and each one of these numbers coincide with my list in the bottom here of my screen. So I actually have a list down here. So these numbers are the same as the actual listing down in here. Zoom out a little bit here. My screen's in too much. Okay, so you can see my numbers are here on the left side, and they also show up here. Now, if you uncheck any of these, as you can see, they're check marks here on the left, it will remove them off your map. So everything right now is automatically selected for you. So these are the comps that automatically pulled. Now, the way you pull this is that it has a search criteria default set up for you, but we're going to go ahead and adjust that if any adjustment needs to be made, and that way it will rerun that search for you. So if you look in the top right corner, it used to be in the bottom, it's going to be in the top right corner of your screen. It says search criteria. And then a little bit here so you can get. So if you select search criteria, your box is going to open up with the options that you have. So first thing here, and I am working on this, I'm hoping they can change it. You only have an option to pull the first 10 comps. We used to have a lot more options of comparables, so I'm not sure why this has been reduced, but I've already reported a lot of these issues, already gone through this. So if you see something else that's a concern, let me know. I definitely will address that. Under the comps is your sort method. So when it does load these listings for you, how do you want them to appear? I usually sort them by the square footage. So the closest square footage to my subject property square footage, but you can do it from the distance, from the recording date, so your most recent show up at top, or the sale price. You can select any of these. I always want to include my property images. And then you've got these value projected by assessments, value by square footage, and that real AVM. These are some additional values that it's giving you automatic values on the properties. If you don't want these included, you don't have to include them. Just uncheck them. These can be removed. You want to keep them in, you can keep them in. So if this is the first time you're using this, you might want to keep everything there, take a look at it, see if you like it, and go back and make the adjustments after. Under your sort method, you've got data source. You want to make sure this is always selected for both. You want tax records, you want MLS records. Scroll down a little further, you've got pool. Now, a lot of these I keep as like no preference or nothing filled in because as a default, I want it pretty general. But individually, as I go in to do these comps, I can make my adjustments from here. So this property does not have a pool. I want to go 1 mile around the property, but if you want to go less or more, you can. You go up to 10 miles. Sale price, I can put a sale price range if I want, or from a starting point or an end point. If I know there's a lot of new construction in the area, maybe I want to cap it. Same thing with year built. It might be a mixture of an area where we've got some newer and older homes. I can always adjust year built from here too. Bedrooms, bathrooms, same thing. Any adjustments you want, you can do a minimum if you'd like. It does give you a range, or you can leave them blank and they'll stay open for you. I'm going to go down to stories. So here's the thing with stories, and I don't believe they've changed, and they have not. I can select 1 story, I can select 2 story, I cannot select 1.5 story. So I usually leave this open if I have a split level so that I can make sure that I'm getting the results that I need. I don't want to limit it and not get my split level properties. Since I selected both for MLS and tax records, I am going to automatically get all my sales records. If you don't want to include them, if you want just distressed sales, or if you want to exclude distressed sales, if I want just REOs or short sales, you can do that. But I want to include all my tax records. For your boundary, your geography, it's for waterfront, it's for located near an airport, rural. I mean, this will give you a few options in here. So these I'm actually going to do same, you can do safe, I'm sorry, this is the boundary lines. It's the same subdivision, same zip, same city. This might work well if you're doing a condo. I find sometimes the condos might be a little difficult pulling them from here, but this will work with that. My site influence underneath is where I was going next. That will show if it's waterfront property, beach, which would be nice, airport, canal, anything that might affect the value of the property because of the location. So that's your site influence. Data type, I want them by recording date or sales date. I prefer sales date because sometimes the recording date could be a month or 2 months out. My time period, you can go back up to 12 months. So you can go a year back, you can go 6 months, whatever you're looking for. A lot of times I keep it open at 12 months if there's a lot of activity, especially during the summer months when we're really busy and the sales are skyrocketing. That might be a time to reduce that so you're getting more of the recent sales. You can also do a date range. Also, I can sort it. So what do I want to see as far as the square footage of the houses that it's pulling for comparables? What's the percentage to the subject property? So from my subject property, which is about 1,600 square feet, I like to go 20% above and below the square footage. Typically, that's the amount that appraisers will go. Sometimes they go more or less, depending on the appraiser, but I usually will try to max it at 20%. You can go more or less. So again, you've got that option here too. And I can also put in the actual range of square footage too, if I want to put in the amount. Lot area. If you've got acreage and you want to do the same thing, is adjust the size of the properties it's pulling with the acreage compared to your subject property. You can also adjust it by percentage, or you can also put in, what the square feet is from here. The last 2 things is the type of house it is. Is it a ranch? Is it a colonial? If you use style, you will have a problem finding properties half the time. They don't pull. It's just like having style and structure style in Paragon. You always want to use structure style, which is the 1-story, 2-story, and so forth. Same thing here. I usually skip the style section, go down to the very last one where it says land use. I want same as subject. And if it's a residential, single family. If it's a condo, you can mark condo or townhouse, whatever it might be. Check mark it, and when you check mark it, it will add it to your right side. If you don't want this, you just click the X and it removes it. You have 2 options at the bottom, submit and save and submit. If you save and submit, that is going to save everything you just did as a default. Next time you come in here, it's going to be exactly the same way as you just did it. If you want to just make the changes just for this specific search, you can hit submit, and that will now reload your comparables to whatever matches you have. Okay, so your map should reload now, and properties will show up down here. So the next thing is, let's look at the comparables and what do we want to use. So one thing that they changed, and this is something that I'm not too happy with either, I've already reported this. You used to be able to click on any one of these properties and open up the full listing detail with all the information on the interior of the property and so forth. You can no longer do that. Now you can open up the photos. So if you see a camera to the left of the address, all you have to do is click on that and give it a second to load. And it will show you all your photos. It should be nice, clear, nice high resolution quality. And you can just go ahead and arrow and go through all the pictures right from here. So you can at least do that. So again, we don't have the listing detail, but we do have still the 1-line report that will give you the information about the property right in here. And if you scroll, there's quite a bit of information. This is sorted, whatever sort method you picked with your search criteria. But if, for example, looking at this and I want to change my sort method, I can. You've got, it's like an Excel spreadsheet. You can click on any one header and it will sort by that section. So here's my square footage. If I wanted to change the sort, I can change it from, which is already, I believe, sorting with that. But if you double click, it'll go from the lowest square footage to the highest, or if I double click again, it goes to the highest and so forth. So it could be by, if you have multiple cities for some reason, or maybe the year built is really important here, then maybe you want to click on that and sort it by that order. So again, whatever is important for you for your search at that time. And again, if you want to remove any of these after you look at photos, you can uncheck them right on the left side of your screen, and it will remove them out of this map also. Once you're done with your comps and you know which ones you're using, you're now going to go to the bottom right corner of your screen and there's a generate report button. So if I select generate report, and give it a second to load, and it will show you what your completed report will look like at this point. Okay. So my first section, again, the tabs are here at the top that we'll be walking through. The first one's your comparables. You'll have a larger map view. You're going to have the search criteria that was used, your statistics, so it's going to break down those numbers for you with your low, median, high, and average. And then it's going to show your comparables. So you're going to get the first photo, which will be all you'll see on your report. You'll see the interior photos for the subject property. The comparables, you only see the front photo, which is the one thing that that I would love for them to change. I would like to see interior photos for all the comparables, just like we do in cloud, but that option isn't here yet. So hoping that's something they might be able to change in the future. So with the comparables, you can see my subject property is the first one, and then it pulls my first 4. If you look to the right, there is an arrow right next to the picture. If I click on that, I can now arrow into the next comparable and start pulling them through here. What I'd like you to look at too is you're looking at the information on each one of these properties. You will notice tax and MLS. So you'll have something with tax and something with MLS. For example, this one shows the document date when this was sold. So you can see here, tax records was July 25th, MLS was July 26th. So it is a day difference. But if you see a big difference where it's years, so that could be a difference of it was listed once in the MLS, once it was for sale by owner. Same thing here with your MLS sold price and sale price. If you see 2 different prices, then at one point there was a for sale by owner and you should see the date that was recorded. So you will see a difference there, and that's how you can tell if it's for sale by owner or not. If it says an MLS sold price, then it was listed. And I don't know if any of these show up as a for sale by owner. I can look here and see if anything pops up. I was hoping I'd be lucky enough to have one. Oh, I do right here. So this one looks like sale price at $205. And that was in 2019. Looks like might have been up for sale by owner. In 2012, it was sold in the MLS for $97,000. So it looks like this property was up for sale by owner at one point. So that's how you can find between the two. So just look for the MLS sold price and sale price. Sale price is your tax records. MLS sold price is by the MLS. And again, look for the actual document or sale date. Look for tax and then MLS. Okay, so those are your comparables. So we're going to go back to the top of our screen, and you're going to see the next tab over is neighbors. And if you were in Realist before, we had neighbors before. All this is going to do is pull in the neighbors around the subject property and show you the sale price, no matter how far back it went. So if it was something they bought 10 years ago, you will see the sale price that they paid 10 years ago on the neighbors. So map will show up. Here's my subject property and then the homes around it. And as I scroll up here, you can see here's the other properties. It will show the recording date. So here's one for sale by owner. In 2001, they paid $158,750, and that was a for sale by owner. It was not listed in the MLS. Okay. So it does show you where this one here has got an MLS sale and a tax record. Arrow here on the right, again, we'll pull in the rest of the neighbors for you. Okay, if you look back to the top of your screen, you have neighborhood profile. That's the next section. And this is going to give you some statistical information. It just gives you some information about that neighborhood, about people living in the neighborhood. I'm not sure how beneficial this is for your clients. You may want to use it, you may not. Information I really don't have my buyers looking for, but it talks about the gender in the area, the marital status in the area, housing. Occupancy is really good. It shows you how many are vacant, how many are owner occupied, how many are actual tenants. And if they are looking to rent the area, you can kind of see what their fair market rents are. Quality of life, not sure how beneficial that is. Blue collar, white collar, again, not sure if it's something that your buyers are concerned about or sellers. Household income, commute method, and education. This is always good information. It does tell you a little bit about the education in the area, and then it does show the schools. It will show you the distance of the school, grades, how many students per teacher, and then their ratings by the schooldigger.com that they use. And if I go down further than that, I've got businesses in the area, which this might be beneficial for someone relocating. It kind of shows them what's in the area and that's nearby. So you can customize this. If there's things in here you don't want to include, you do have a customized view in the top right corner of your screen. If you click customize view, you can actually uncheck any one of those sections that you don't want included. So education, most likely you probably want to keep that in, but maybe quality of life you may not want, or you don't want the housing information. Again, these can be unchecked and not included. Okay, so that is our full report. Again, if you, excuse me, if you did this before, we had a few more tabs. Those are no longer available. Okay, so I'm going to now show you your actual completed report. So if you look at the bottom here to the left, it used to be on the right side. Again, a couple changes here. In the bottom left of your screen, you have a print and email option. So to complete this, I can now email it or print it. If I want to print it, you have two options, quick print and customized print. Quick print will pull all the pages and just send it to printing for you. It actually will download a PDF for you. If you customize, I can now remove any sections again at this point. So I can go to custom print and I can now remove, if I don't want the neighborhood profile, I can remove that whole page off. Or if I don't want to include neighbors, you can uncheck any of these. But I'm going to go ahead and select proceed. And it's going to process and create PDFs of all the pages for me. And then it should download it on your computer somewhere, depending on which browser you use. Mine typically downloads in the top right corner where my arrow is. Some will download in the top and the bottom left. So once it's completed, it'll say PDF generating. Once you see that completed, then just look for that download. So we'll wait a second here, and then I can open that up and show you what it looks like. Am I good with questions at all?
Yes, ma'am, you are good.
Perfect. Okay, so mine should have print. There it goes. Should be downloading right here as we speak. And it's not too large of a file, 8.5 megabytes, so it's easy to attach. So if you want to include it from your own email, you can. You don't have to email from here. Take a look at the report real quick. Here we go. Okay, so again, it's going to be broken down into the same tabs that we had earlier. So you've got your property details, and let me a little bit bigger here. So here's the details on my property, my subject property. And I got 31 pages total. More information on the subject property. Everything we saw when we pulled the tax record is included in this section, including a map, also the lot size itself. Photos. You can see all the photos, which is nice. I've got all my interior photos here, which again is something I would prefer to see for all the properties we selected for comparables. And after you get through the photos, it should take us into our comparables. So again, the map, like we saw earlier, and then you can see the statistics, and then it's going to take you into your side-by-side comparables here. That's what you'll see. That's the view that they're going to have. I'll scroll through these pretty quick here. Then you've got your neighbors, same thing, map, and then the neighbors includes all the addresses with just the front photo. And now your neighborhood profile. So this is the information we looked at the end. I'll give you some information about the education, items in the area, businesses, and so forth. And that's your full report. So this is now downloaded as a PDF to your computer. You can now attach it. If you would prefer to just email it directly from here, you go to the bottom left of your screen again, select email, and again, go to customize. That way you can remove whatever you don't want. Select proceed. It will open up an email window for you, and it will show the email coming from you. We will be creating an email signature at the end. I'll show you how to do that, so that way your information is there and you don't have to type it in every single time. But once the email window pops up, we can type in the email address to send it out. Give it a second here. Okay, add to email, and there we go. So you can see my reply to is me. So again, it is showing from your email address. Type in the property where to email sent to. It looks like you can always see or BCC yourself on it. And then it does show the reports being emailed to you from the agent, and then your signature line will pop up here at the bottom. So if you don't have one in there, don't worry, I will show you how to create these at the end. And then you just hit send. So now we can email it directly from here. So I'm gonna hit cancel. If you don't want to send it, just hit cancel. And we should be good. So that is everything from pulling the property from Paragon, going into Realist, finding the property details, and then walking through the tabs to create our counts. Okay. So I'm going to now take you into Realist, going from the tax link itself. So I'm going to go ahead and close my Realist out, and I'm going to go back into Paragon. To find Realist right from here, instead of going from a property, you would go tax, Realist tax search. So again, just under Paragon, under your taxes will be your first one. Give that a second to load. So we're going to turn off the Realist. I'm going to show you how you can just run a search here, and then also all the extra things that you're going to search by and create. So as this opens up on the top left, you are going to see right there where it says multiple counties and change county. That's the first thing you'll want to do. Once you actually select the counties, it stays the same way. It's a default. So you're going to select change county if you've not done this already. And you can select up to 8 counties. So you want to make sure these are selected for any county that you might possibly search in. Just check mark them. If there's something here on the right, these are what's included. Just hit the X on the right if you want to remove it. So if you really don't search in that county, go ahead and remove it, and then you can add whatever else you'd like. So if you want to take a minute here and just check mark the counties, and 8 is your max. And again, remove what you don't want on the right side. And then once you've got that completed, there is an apply in the bottom right corner of your screen. So make sure you select apply to save it. And that will be a default. If you don't want to make any changes, just go ahead and hit cancel, and it will take us back to our screen. Okay. When you look in the left side of your screen, you've got 2 tabs, Quick Search, My Search. Quick Search is like Paragon Quick Search. It's basic information. You cannot adjust anything. You cannot save anything. I typically don't use Quick Search at all. I usually just skip it. Unless you have something you just want to look up real quick without having to do anything else with it, you might want to use it, but I prefer to go to My Search. And My Search will now give me many options. First thing we're going to look at is the criteria that we have on the left side of our screen. So you can see here at the top, I've got a drop-down menu, and I can create a new search, or it will have a couple defaults in here for you. The default just has the criteria boxes in there in the order that they've been set up for you. You can create your own. So if I go to my search, take it back to, it's going to now load the boxes that I have for my search. I have created my own custom, and I'm going to walk you through creating your own. Underneath there, it says customize search. Go ahead and select that. There's quite a few criteria boxes you can search by. Maximum you can have is 30. If you look at your screen on the right side, they call them attributes, your criteria boxes. These are the ones included already. And here in the center are all the choices that you have. So if you look, there's all categories on the left, and then they're broken down by tabs. So I usually like to click through each tab and select the ones that I want. So if you look here, the one underneath all categories, my owner information, I usually start off there, and I would select what I want to use. I have 30 selected, so I can't select anymore, but we can walk through these real quick and make your selections. I like to have the owner name, so I can just run a search by any owner's name. Geography, if I definitely want my address and my city and my zip. Subdivision, I sometimes like searching by. If you want to search by zoning or just the street name, you can select these others. And if you scroll down after geography on the left, characteristics. So these are the interior features of the property and the exterior of the lot. So if there's things here that you would like to add, you can. I've got my square footage, I have basement type, how many bedrooms, acres, baths, foundation, has a pool, land use core logic, stories. I find it's really important. Stories and style are really important. Obviously, your built's important, and water, because if you're looking for waterfront properties, that's the way you want to search that. So again, I'm on the left, that's characteristics, so just check mark and uncheck anything that you don't want. So if there's something you want to remove, you just uncheck it. Okay, so if you go down to the left side again, listing information, this is going to have your MLS list date, price, listing date, sold date. I have just a few selected. I have my list price in here, my sold price. I did status date, so that covers everything, and the status. So I really don't need to do list date, sold date, and so forth. I can just do status date, and that will give me anything within whatever status I've selected. And then we're going to go back to the left of our screen and click assessment and tax. I like to use this exemption homestead, and the reason being I've had agents looking for properties that might be rentals. This is a great way to find them. If you select homestead exemption, you can select non-homestead and then pull up those properties and see if they're not owner occupied, are they a vacation home, or are they actually rented out? So that will help you find any type of possible rental properties out there. Okay, if you go to the left of your screen, and again, you've got things here for like delinquent tax indicators and things like that, land assessments. So to the left, sales information. I want the sales price, I want the sale type, and I want the recording date. Left again, certificate of real estate value. I don't see anything here yet. I'm not sure if this is something that's coming, but I've not seen an option here at this point. Under that, foreclosure and distress, I like to see distress sales and by them, so that's an option for you to search for distress sales. And the last one, mortgage information. I can type in a bank name and search any property that they own. So just make sure you've got lender name, and I can type in Chase Bank, Bank of America, and see any properties that pull up within that bank. Okay, so once you have these selected, they should be all on the right side of your screen. Now you can put them in any order that you'd like, and what you need to do is just left click, drag, and move them. So if I wanted the owner name moved down, I left click, hold it, and then drag it down to wherever I want to include it. Okay. So if you would like to relocate these in a different order, you can, and I'll give you a second to do that. And then what we're going to do is actually, we're going to save this as a default. This will be set up the same way for you every single time you come in here. So you've got all those criteria boxes now available to you to use. And you can always come back and add something else later without saving it just for a one-time search, maybe something you normally don't search by. You could always add it, or you can change it and make it your default again and update your change. Okay. So once everybody has that done, we'll we're going to want to apply our change. And we're actually going to now save this and we're going to name it. So once you hit apply, it's actually going to reload this with whatever you may have added in or moved around or removed. It should be out. And you're going to see to the right of customize search is save. So when you select save, we want to create our search as a template is what we're doing. So I'm going to rename it. So mine's already named for my search, but you're going to name it for whatever you'd like. It's going to say search template. It's already highlighted for you. Select that and hit save. So now it's going to be your default. And again, if you look in this drop-down menu, you do have one already set up for you. There's a default property search. So there is something there. So don't worry. You don't have to create your own. You can use what's already set up if you like it the way it's set up. If you're doing a search for a client and you start filling in all these boxes, you can always save any of your client's information, save that search, and then you can come back and load it by selecting that drop-down menu and finding your client's search and just dropping it in. If you had searches from before saved in here, you might want to double check. When I was going through mine, I had a few that were not pulling up. Looked like most of them had pulled over with the changes, but I did have a couple didn't seem to have the information in there. So just double check them if there's any that you need to update or adjust again, but they should be in there for you. Okay, so now I can fill in information and run a search. So you fill in the information on the left and your search button's here in the bottom left. When you're doing anything on the map, if you want to do a search, you can draw on the map, but you have to come back to this search button. This will pull your results. So make sure that you're always coming back to the search button to get to them. So if I want to pull in an address, I can just type in the address here. And I'm going to type in the property I did earlier, the 49079. And I like to put a comma in the city because I do find that it's best for me in some states at times. So I find it's easy for me to put in the full address so I don't have to guess where I'm at. So at the bottom here, the search, and you can see my results. It automatically pulled one result, but I still have to hit search to load it. So it will load it here, and this is called your table now. It will load it here on the right side of your screen. So here's a property. If I wanted to run comps on a property that was never listed, and I wanted to go through the same steps that we did earlier, you would come in here, put in the property address. Here's the information. You will double click on it, and it's going to open up that full report, just like we did from going from Paragon to the quick action link coming in here. Same information. And then if you look at the top left here, I can now click on comparables, and I can walk through the steps and generate a report right from here. So if everybody's comfortable with this, I'm going to move on to show you other things since we already did this. But again, you would just type in the property address. It gives you your details, hit comparables. Then I can generate my report right down here. And then you can print an email in the bottom left corner. Okay. We do have handouts. If you look on the right side of your screen, there is a page that says handouts, a little section. If you open that up, I did update the handout for the changes here. So there is a new tax search handout. If you open that up, it will give you the step-by-step. It's pretty much written the way I'm teaching, so it should be easy to follow. It does have some screenshots, so hopefully that will be a great refresher for you later when you go back through this. Okay, so to go back, if you did click on it, we're going to click back here in the top left corner. And it's going to take you back to your Realist page. There we go. So right back to our map. So what I'd like to do now is take you through the map itself. There's a lot of items there you can search on the map, and you can also do labels. So I want to walk you through all that. When you're working with your map, and if you want to see the different items and you want a larger view, I can close out this section here. I can minimize it, and I can also close out my table down here. So the way you do this, on the left side at the top, where it says quick search, my search, there's a little arrow, sometimes hard to see, but if you hover over it, it should say collapse search bar. You click on that. Actually, I'm going to clear my search first, so my property doesn't show up anymore, bottom left. But if you click on that, it's going to close it up for you. And then the bottom here is your table, and then you've got your map. We're on a split view. The view of this is in the top right now. It's moved things around a little bit. So we're on a split. If I want just my map, I can select map, or if I just want my table, I can select list. But I'm going to go map. So if you want to go ahead and open that up larger, just so it's easier as we're drawing on here so you can see things. So if you look now, they've moved the items here. It used to be these controls were on the left side, and then all of your little other controllers were here were on the right. It's now been swapped. So your view is here on the right. So we're right now looking at the road map. You do have a satellite and you do have a hybrid and a terrain view. So if you click any of these, it does give you additional views, depending what you're looking for. When you're drawing on the map, I would suggest stay with that road map. View easier to draw and be able to view what your results are. Okay. To the right, plus and minus, if I want to zoom in, which I do want to get closer here, you're just going to click that plus sign, or obviously your mouse you can roll in and on your mouse itself, and then you've got your minus to zoom out. When we're drawing and adding different items here, you'll notice that you'll see a magnifier pop up. If you do, you might have to zoom in. So if you see a magnifier, zoom in, or sometimes we'll say zoom in, or you might have to zoom out. Otherwise, the results are not going to load. So that's something you'll have to watch for as we're adding things here. Top left of your screen, these are the tools we're going to use. So we're going to start off, we're going to relocate the map wherever you want it. So if you look at the top here, the third one over, it says locate on the map. It looks like a little map with like a dot on it. It's kind of hard to see, but if you hover over it, it should say locate on the map. Click on that. Now I can type in an address, a zip code, a city, and it will relocate it. So I'm just going to go ahead and put in Macomb Macomb Township. Click on the one I want. It should relocate it for you. That's for you. So if you want to take a put in whatever area you'd like. The other thing is you can drag this map and move it around. The nice thing about this is when you are loading things on here, if you move it around, it will reload your results, whatever your view is. So you can adjust it that way. But have it kind of in an area that you want to run a search. And we're going to go ahead and start on the left side of the screen here. And the very first one, it's a pencil. That's our drawing tool, just like Paragon. We've got 3 options. So if you click on that pencil in the top left corner, you can do the radius, which is a circular shape, rectangle, which you can do either rectangle or square shape, or your polygon makes any shape that you'd like. So I'm going to walk you through using these. We'll start off with our radius tool. You click on that. You're going to click on your page and you're going to hold the button down, left click, and you're going to drag it out as far as you want to go and then let go of it. That's going to create your radius, your circle shape. If you click on it, it's actually going to allow you to name it. So if I'm drawing multiple maps on here, maybe for a client, maybe my buyer wants Macomb Township, but they're specific on the area, Shelby Township, but they're really specific on roads that they're by, you know, something of that sort. I can put in here Macomb Township homes and Shelby Township homes, or whatever you want to name it, but you can rename it. You can also delete the shape, or you can just run a search right from here. It does tell you how many square miles your shape is. So right now I'm in just a little over 1.5 square miles. Okay, so I'm going to close this out. There's an X here on the right. So that is your radius. I can move this by left clicking and dragging it wherever I want it. And I can resize it. If you look in the corners here on each side, well, around the circular shape, there's really no corners. There's a white circle that pops up. And as I hover over it, 2 arrows pop up. I can left click and drag it out. Or I can, which I am in a bigger area. So you can see right now I've got an error. I can't search. I'm over 11 square miles. It's not going to load all the results because I've got thousands of properties. And then I can also left click, drag it in, allow it to reshape it that way. So you don't have to recreate it if it's not the area you want or the size that you want it. You can always adjust it. If I want to get rid of it, I can just hit delete shape and it deletes it. You go back to the top left for your pencil again. We're going to go to the rectangle tool. So pencil, rectangle tool, little plus sign should pop up here. And this is going to go from corner to corner. So I'm going to go to my furthest corner that I want to draw. So I'm going to go over here at like 21 in card area. I'm going to left click. I'm going to drag it out. And I'm going to go up to 22 and Heinrich and then click again. And I've now created my shape. So this is going to be corner to corner. So again, with the rectangles, and these are just like Paragon. You're going to click once, drag it out, click again, create your shape. Again. All right. And same as the other, I can delete them right from here. I can resize them. Go to the corners, I can size them this way. This will allow you to size them on the sides here also. So you can move them in or out, make it whatever size, or move it to where you'd like it. And again, you can rename the shape too if you need to. I'm going to hit delete to remove it. And we'll go back to our pencil top left corner, and now we'll do that polygon tool. which again, just like Paragon, you're going to draw multiple lines to create a shape. So I can go around things. So maybe I'm in an area where I'm trying to avoid, you know, the expressway going to the east of the expressway, or maybe there's train tracks, I want to stay on one side of them, whatever it might be, I can go around. So I will go in, let's start off here at 22 miles, and I'm going to click once. As you click, it's going to start my line. And every time I want to relocate the direction of the line, you're going to click again. So I'm going to click here, I'm going to come back through here, down here. So again, you can go around into anything you'd like. Your start point is your end point. So my first dot here, I go back to it, click again, created my shape. So you can see the shape here. Again, I can move it, left click, drag it around wherever you want it. And I can still change the size or the shape itself. Now you've got multiple dots all around the edges here. So I can click any one of these and drag them out and drag them in. And again, create whatever I need to, go around whatever I need to. Okay, so that's your polygon tool. Click on this again, you can delete the shape. So I'm going to delete that. So those are your drawing tools. And again, those are the pencil in the top left corner. We're going to go to the right of that. These are boundary lines. We're going to go ahead and click our boundaries. And you've got a few different options here. The first one is your parcel. Your parcel, you can see a magnifier pops up with a plus sign. So if I click on it, it's now going to zoom me. I want to zoom. Well, I'm going to have to zoom in. It's not going to zoom. Sometimes depending on your computer, it should allow you to zoom in just by clicking on it. But I want to get in close enough that I can see it draw the lines of the parcels. As you can see right now, they're starting to appear. There they go. So if I go down to my boundaries again, you can see the magnifier has disappeared. So if you do see a magnifier at all, please zoom in or zoom out, whatever it says to do at that point in order to see the results. Otherwise, you'll see nothing. So with the parcel lines, what I do like with this is I can click in any one of these parcels, and it's going to pull me the information on the property. So I can see property address, the owners, and if it has any information about the property itself, the last time it sold. This one doesn't have as much information. Let me find one that's got a little bit more. I'm going to show you the other icons that you have an option for. These others, no, looks like these are limited too, but we'll find one that has more. If you opened up one, you might have additional icons here. I just want to show you your shortcuts, but this magnifier, it just actually zooms you into the property. And if you click, which I love, the parcel dimensions, it's going to zoom in a little bit further, and I can now see what my dimensions are on that lot. So you see that irregular lot, great way to see exactly what the view is. If you're doing vacant land, I've done vacant land listings where I've come in here and I pulled my dimensions, and I was able to save this, and I can upload it right into Paragon or use it for a report, whatever I need to. But it's a great way so they can see your actual dimensions, especially when it's in regular shape. Okay, and if I click again, the last thing here is Instinet. So I can actually pull the information on this property right into Instinet and start creating a transaction. So like a listing agreement. If I'm starting a listing, or if I'm writing an offer, for some reason I want to pull the information from here, I can. You have that option here. And also we'll take you through and creating a report too. You can create your comparable reports and get more information right from here. So that is our parcels. And all I did there, zoom back out a little bit here so you can see them, is when those parcel lines appear, as you zoom in, all you're doing is clicking inside any box. And then once you do, it will pop up with the information. If it's been listed, it should pop up where you can see the actual listing. And none of these I don't see, because usually there's a property photo if it's been in the MLS. And it looks like most of these have been for sale by owners, or maybe directly from the builder. So I don't see one. But if you do, there's usually an arrow where you can open up the actual report itself from Paragon to show the last listing with the full agent report. So that's our parcels. And again, if you go to boundaries in the top left of your corner, if you keep that check marked, it will keep your parcel lines. If you don't want them, you can uncheck them. But you also have an option to see a neighborhood, which neighborhood, zip, and city and county, you have to zoom out. So if I want to select, for example, city lines, I check mark that. I'm now going to zoom out. Times here. And as we zoom out, we should start seeing lines appearing and then the names of the city pop up. And sometimes it's a little patient here to get the results to pop up here. And it's trying to load. And you can see in the bottom left here, it's trying to load the city. And it may not be by the parcel lines. Let's look at, or by the city lines here. Where we're at. I know this works. I've used it, so I'm sorry it's not loading for me here like it should be. You can try a different one. Oh, there they go. Here they are. I'm in Macomb Township. It's a bigger area. There we go. So now these are all loading right in here. So you can see it's got the lines. So this is Utica. I zoom in a little bit. You can probably see that much better. There we go. Perfect. So you can see exactly where the lines are in the streets that it cuts through. So under boundaries, again, you can select any of these sections. The one thing that I really like that I do use is the selection for high school, middle school, or elementary. I do get the buyers that say, my daughter's graduating in 2 years, I have to in this high school. So I can select high school and zoom out a little bit so I can see it a little bit better here. And you should see all the lines come in. So these are your attendance zones, and it will show you the school itself. So this one actually pulls the junior high school for me too. Here's Chippewa High School, so I can see exactly where the lines are for the attendance for that school. Most of them are school choice, but sometimes they're not, or they might be closed school choice, or your client doesn't want to deal with school choice. So this is a way for you to see, what areas, what streets you can actually take them through. And we do have this option in Paragon 2 under our map. They're called attendance zones. Okay, so under boundaries again, we do have flood zones. So I'm going to uncheck high school. And I do want to check things because after a while, if you have everything checked, it's going to be hard to read. So I just kind of remove things as we go. Flood zone. Flood zone will actually show you the floodway zone down here at the bottom, and it will actually show you the color coding of the flood zones. And if you look at the colors, you can see at the bottom what your floodways are, if there's any, depending on the area you're looking at. Okay, and again, as you move this, it should continue loading for you. Okay, so that's my flood zones. So those are boundaries. To the right of boundaries, I'm going to uncheck this real quick. If you go to the right, you got this little push pen. This is going to be sales records. So I can go to the first section is distressed properties. If I want to see bank-owned properties in the area, you can see my magnifiers all popped up. I need to zoom in, but I'm going to select say bank-owned. I'll select short sales. We'll select them all actually. So if you look, they're color-coded. So if I zoom in now, I should be able to see items pop up. Again, you're going to have to be a little patient. These will start popping up. They're very small. Bottom left, there's the actual code of what they are, so you can see what my colors are as they do appear. If nothing seems to pop up, just move your map around, because maybe the section you're looking in, there isn't any. But again, you've got to get a little time for it to search to see if there are any that are distressed sales. And I haven't seen anything pop up quite yet. Let's see if I zoom in a little bit here and see if there's, here we go. I just need to zoom in a little bit more. So all these just popped up. So I have quite a few here, it looks like. If I click on them, so let's look at, here's a bank owned right here. If I can zoom in a little bit more, get closer to it so I can pull that property. This one. If I click on it, I can see the property. This is owned by 5 Star Asset Management. And you can see here some of the information about it. It looks like it's listed. So let's click on that. It should show the listing itself. And here it is. Looks like it actually closed already. So it was listed and it sold. And this sold, it looks like the last time it sold was a while ago, 2014. So it's an old listing. So it was listed, but that was the last listing it's showing. It's showing the 2015 sale date, but I'm not sure why it didn't pull the actual record on it. It really does. Again, with the changes they've made here, they might still have some glitches in the system and things might be still being fixed as they go. So I'll keep an eye on that to make sure that that gets fixed. So there is no problem with that again. But you should see, again, there's quite a few. I've got an auction home right up here. So you can get some great information just by going through and selecting your property sales for distressed sales. So if you are looking for some type of bank-owned or auctions or whatever it might be, you can search that here. And again, as you move it, it'll continue to load for you. So that was the top left here, the third one. And that's under distressed properties. I'm going to remove my distressed properties and show you your other options in here. We've got sales and values. If I want to see tax sales, I can go back 12 months and see the last homes that have sold in the last 6 months, 12 months. Again, dots will pop up. You can click on them and view. You can see where there's been a lot of activity of sales. Agents that like to farm areas, some of this might be helpful for farming. MLS status, this is, I know, a good one for farming. Agents will like to select expired. The minimum it'll go is 3 months. I wish we can go closer, but 3 months. Just please be very careful, double check the information, because I have found, I've actually myself have received calls from agents when the property is listed, but because it expired, they didn't double check and they're pulling. So make sure it's not listed. You don't want to be contacting someone else's client, but you can see here, a couple popped up here, and you should be able to click on it and get the information about it. So you can double check that address, go back to Paragon, type it in, make sure it's not in there. If I pull the listing on it, it's probably show the last sale. And yep, this one sold in 2000. So that's the last sale that it's showing on here. So I would still double check, make sure it has not been relisted before you're contacting them. But again, it does give the owner information. Okay, so back to the top left again. And then it removes expired. Again, you can do active, pending, sold, and these drop-down menus let you go 12 months back. Okay, under MLS status, one last section is this property characteristics. You can type in or select any of these, and it actually will put in the information for all the properties. So for example, if I wanted my lot area, I can see it for all the properties, building area. What I do like to do here, if we select owner name, maybe you forgot some of the neighbors in your neighborhood and you can't remember their names, you select that and zoom in a little bit, it will pop up with every last name of every property out there. So if you want to find out what the last name is of your neighbor or anybody else, it's a great way to search it. Again, as you zoom in, it pops up with more. So that is, again, under your little push pin here, and it's going to be the very last one under property characteristics, and I selected owner name. I'm going to select none at the top and to remove all those. Okay, so we're done with this section. We're going to go over to the next one. These are going to be marked, actually going to shade your map to show you different things. So I can go here under type first, and maybe I want to see what is the number of homes in foreclosure on this specific area. So if I select this, and I can go down a little bit further, your aggregation level is, do you want zip code or do you want neighborhood? And do you want single family or do you want condos? So you'll select what you want to see, or both. And what it does is actually shades your map, and at the bottom it shows you here less than 25 within this area. Again, if I zoom out and start moving around, the shading might change and the numbers might change here. So a little more of a graph type thing, more statistical information here. So you can change opacity. So if I want darker, I can make it darker. Might be a little bit harder to read the area underneath, or you can make it lighter, whichever you want to do. Okay, so I am going to clear out to none. So very top one is none. That removes that and takes us back to our map. Okay, so that is a trend. And then the next one, the binoculars, this will give you points of interest. So for example, schools, if I want to see the schools and how close they are, I can hit education here and out and give it a second to load. Again, if nothing's loading, you might want to either zoom out or move your map around to see the results. Maybe section you're looking in, there isn't a school in that area. Zoom out a little bit more. You should see graduation caps appear on your map somewhere, wherever the schools are. So zoom out a little bit more here, see if anything pops up. I know there's schools in this area. There's Macomb College, so it should be popping up. And a little bit more and see. And again, that's points of interest. Let me uncheck it and check it again. And it doesn't want to load right now. So I'm sorry, it's not loading again with the changes. You might have a little glitch here. Sometime here it's taking a load thing. So I will make sure these items that have not worked as properly today will be still working for us and get those resolved. To the right of your points of interest, you have a car. The car will give you driving directions. So maybe I want to see distance maybe from my client's work to a specific house or to their school, whatever it might be. I can type that in and get directions, and send those, I can email those directions over. To the right of that, we've done already is the locate on map. You can type in again, address, zip code, city, and that will pull it for you and take you to that area. Okay, to the right of that, we have the ruler, and this is a measurement tool. So this will give you measurements from one point to another. So for example, Again, it might be like from work or school to the house. You can click, say, from here, and it does this line, and I can click to another area and click again to create it. If I touch this, it's supposed to give you, it's not telling me right now what it is. Here it is. It tells you how many feet the total length is. So that's what it is, just giving the distance in that way. And then you have this annotation tool. If you want to put something on the map, if you're giving the map maybe to your client and you want to put a note in here, maybe you're pointing different things out for them, I can type in whatever message, whatever message I want them to see. And then you can actually print or email this map at the bottom left corner, and this will be included. Whatever you're viewing on your map will show up for them. So that's what this little annotation tool does. All right. So those are all of our tools on the map itself. Is there anything that you would like me to show you again, or did I miss anything? Is there any questions at all, Deb?
Not yet. So if anybody has any questions, go ahead and write them into your little, it's a questions box. Just open that up. I know a lot of you guys have already been using them. Also want to give a shout out at this second for a lot of our members who are not exactly our members, but our cousins. So we vendor MLSs across Southeastern Michigan, and Southeastern Border Association has got a huge presence in today's class. So welcome, gang. We are so glad you could join us on the webinar.
Okay, so everybody seems like everyone's pretty good. Okay, so let's move on to some other stuff. I'm going to take you through our preferences, and I'm going to show you how. So to run a search first, I want to show you how you can do your labels from here. You have two options for doing your labels. You can actually type in an area, or you can do your map. And so I'm going to do my map. And I'm sorry, I know you see my mouse probably moving around. You don't see anything, but I've got my window with my chat and sometimes covering things. So if I'm doing the map and I want to draw, maybe I just I actually had one just sold. It closed recently, one of my listings. If I want to send out just sold postcards, maybe I can go directly to the property. So if you go to locate on the map first here at the top, I can type in the property address. So I'm going to use my property I used earlier, my Berkshire, which is locating it right there for me. And you can see the dot pops up. And now I want to draw around the streets here. So I'm going to actually move this out a little bit here. You can do 1,000 at a time. It will load. Anything more than that, you will get the error, but you do have the option to pull the first 1,000. So I'm going to go to my drawing tool here in the top left, and I'm going to use my polygon because, as you notice, I've got 94 running through here. So I'm going to go around that. I'll use my polygon tool. So I'm going to start over here at Cotton Road. I'm going to draw around, and then I'm going to go back to the top here, and we'll go. Probably should be good about. I don't want to get too many. Go back around. And again, start point is always your end point. So you got to go back there to create it. And there it is. Now, I drew the map, but I have no results. In order to get results on anything on this map to actually see the listings themselves, you have to hit the search button. The search is on the left side where our criteria boxes are. So what I need to do is reopen that section. So to reopen it, you don't really see the arrow. For some reason now you can't see the arrow. That's another complaint I have. But this arrow here needs to be shown so you know it's right here in the white. If you click on that, it does open it up again. And in order to see the actual addresses, to be able to create labels, I need my list, my table. My table's at the bottom here. So in order to get it, top right corner of my map, you should see split. So it says map and then split. I want my split view. So now I can see the results. And I'm going to go to the left here, maps drawn. You can add any additional things that you want here. So if there's something specific you want to show up, go ahead and select that here too. And then hit search. Once you hit search, it's going to them. And again, if you do have more than 1,000, you will see a box pop up with an error, and it'll say more than 1,000. You can either refine it, or first 1,000 will appear for you. So you can see here, my map has a ton of dots here, so everything popped up. All the properties here are showing with a check mark, so that means it is now selected every one of them. In the bottom left under search, I had 197 properties. So if I want to keep all those for postcards or any mailer I want to do, that's fine. We're going to do labels in the bottom of your screen. So if you look here under the actual listings themselves, the property addresses, it says labels. Select labels. And it does give you an option to select what type of labels. Your 5160 is your typical 30 labels to a sheet. Most people have that. It doesn't have to be a brand. Most of them are the 30 labels up for address labels. So you can select that even if you don't have A3. You'll probably want to use mixed case. I don't like all bold letters. If you want to use all bold, but you can, all capital. And you have the option of using the property address or the tax billing address. I like to use tax billing because if it is a rental, I don't want it going to a tenant they're going to throw away in the garbage. So I want it going to the tax billing address. And then you have the option of showing the current owner. You can, foreign addresses, I'm not sure if you want to mail out there, eliminate duplicates if there are duplicates, or you can create a custom label. And you can type in whatever information you want included in that. So we're going to continue with that. And if you go down further, you can also export these to an Excel spreadsheet. So you can have a printed one of them too. You can also, that way you can print those and keep track of who you sent them out to. If for some reason something didn't go through or came back, you can always make marks on that too. Okay. If you look in the right here, export status, you can do 5,000 labels a month. There is no charge for this. So this is a great cheap way to do your own mailers and not pay anyone for them. So 5,000 a month, it will deduct from here. So every time you create them, you'll see that number start dropping. I don't know many agents that do 5,000 a month, but if you do, you might need something more than that. Obviously you'll have to pay at that point, but 5,000 is quite a few. Under there, create. So once you select create, it's going to delete, or not delete, but deduct those labels from your allowable. So don't create until you're ready to actually print them. Because if you're not sure if you can print them now, you want to make modifications later, wait till later, create them. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and hit cancel online. So that's how you create your labels from here. There's an option for postcards. I don't know if this is an added feature that's coming. I did try to work on this a couple times and I kept getting an error. It might have fixed it. Let's see. Let's see if it's changed. So we'll do current homeowner's residence, proceed. And let's see if it does anything for me here. It did take me to another page when I tried it before and it was kept giving me an error. So I'm not sure if it's something, I'm hoping that they fixed it. If they didn't, it will be getting fixed. So we'll make sure that that gets fixed and I'll get more information out to you once it does. If it takes you there. This is hopeful. Nope, it's an error. I can see it right here. So this is what I have. So I received the same thing. So I will find out more information about that too, and hopefully that can get fixed. But postcards would be nice to be able to create our postcards. Again, you can print and email from here. You can export right into Excel. You can create your customized export or do a quick export right from here too. So those are your labels. So you can do the map label or you can remove your map. So if I want to get rid of my map, delete my shape, I can come in here and I can just type in a street at the street and just pull everything on that street. So if I want to pull Berkshire and just get all the neighbors to send them a mailer and then just pick a city. And I can hit search from here. 0 matches, of course. So let's see. Okay. So I have 46 matches. So this is just the properties on Berkshire, and it's pulled them here. And again, when you are doing these too, be careful that they're not listed properties. You want to just kind of make sure, like these are red, they've sold. If they just sold, you may not want to send it to them. This purple is expired, green is active. So if they're active, you want to make sure you uncheck that, so you're not sending them some type of mailer. But you can select or unselect whatever you want. Same thing again, you can do labels, email, print, whatever you want to do from here. And those are your label options. I think that is it. Is there any questions before we get into our preferences? Everyone seem good, Deb, or am I missing anything?
Yep, we're good. So I just sent out a little message to everybody letting them know that the cheat sheets on how to do those labels were attached. It's in the Realist handout one. So I know sometimes you think you caught it all and then you're going to do it. Like, what am I missing? So that's why we've got those attached for you.
Yep, and I do have instructions on labels in there, so it should be in there for you too. Okay, so that is everything on doing the actual map itself. Let's go into our preferences. I can show you how you can make some changes and add your email signature in there. And then we will be done from there. So let's go up to the right corner. If you've opened things, if you want to close them out, you just want to get back to the front view of your Realist. If you accidentally closed it, you can always go back to Paragon and hit your tax go to Realist Tax Search. What we're looking for is, it doesn't have preferences anymore. It's now a gear. Again, some changes I'm not as thrilled with, but top right corner here, this little gear here, this is where you can make your changes for your defaults. So select the gear and give it a second to load here. And if you look on the left, there's multiple sections here where we'll walk through each one, and then we'll save these so that way they're set up for you next time. So we'll start off at the top here. So first thing for your searching. First question is that do you want to automatically open a full detailed report when there's only one match? Again, it's up to you. I prefer to have the one-line report and then double click and open up my full reports. But again, if you want to automatically open, you can check mark that first one. Mailing labels. Do you want to see the ones that are on the do not mail list? If you don't know this already, there is a do not mail list and do not call list. If they're on the do not mail list and you're running labels, it does not pull that property address. If you want them to pull up, you can. I would suggest not to, but you can pull them right from here. Sales transactions. Do I want to include unmatched sales transactions? I don't. Again, up to you. But this means the criteria I put in, if I want to pull something more than what the criteria I'm searching by, it will give me those matches. And it will also go back further to 24 months. So maybe if you can't find anything within 12 months and you need to, you can add that option. If you don't want it, you can leave it turned off. You can always come back and turn it on just to run one search too. So the one benefit to this is new. We didn't have this option before. You can go 2 years back instead of just the 1 year back. Search results. Your maximum is 3,000. So if you do want to see more than 1,000, you can select 3,000. I usually don't want to do 3,000 labels at a time, or I don't want to go through that many, but I have mine set for 1,000 again, whatever you prefer. Next options will be on the left of your screen under search. We're going to go to our reports. And the first thing is fixed or dynamic. The report that they're set up right now is fixed, I believe is default. Fixed means that every box is open, whether there's information or not. If you want dynamic, that means if they don't have any information for whatever that criteria might be or whatever that information is, it might be a blank box, it will not show that box at all. So when they're looking at the reports, if you want to remove them, if they're empty, the field is empty and you don't want to include it, select dynamic. Otherwise, if you want everything there, I select it. Comparables. This is where, again, I would like to see more. 10 is your max. You got 10 here. Sort method. Mine is set up as a default for my square footage. Again, if you want to sort it in a different method, you can. I showed you when we were running the CMA and we went to our search criteria. You can make this adjustment on that page too, everything we're looking at right now, and also save it as a default at that point too. Same thing with these items, images, assessments, real AVM. If you want to include them, check mark them. If you don't, remove them. Always keep both. You always want tax and MLS records, because honestly, if you can't use this for tax records, you have more benefit of just searching in Paragon at that point. So the big benefit here is pulling those for sale by owners. Pool, I keep for no preference. Again, I'll adjust that depending on the property. What's the furthest distance you want? You can go up to 10 miles. I typically go by a mile. Sale price, again, these items, sale price year built, bedrooms, bathrooms, stories, these are going to be defaults. If I fill any of these in, it will show up the same way every single time when I'm running a search. So if you want to keep them more broad and general, you want to leave these empty and then adjust them per property. Tax and distress sales, if you want to include them as a default, which I do. If you don't, you can remove certain items. I want to see distressed properties just as well as I do regular sales. Okay, my boundaries. If I want to include same subdivision, same zip, same city, if I want to be more specific, I can as a default. The only thing I have mine that pulls up is it pulls up single family residence and then same as property, or same as subject property. So you can add any of these as you go through it individually for the property itself. So again, condos sometimes are a little more difficult, and you want to pull just that, the specific condo or complex. You don't want the one next door or the one across the street. This might help you here, maybe by same subdivision, and you can do that. But again, I keep it as no preference. Okay, under there is your market trends report. So that was some of the statistical information it gave us when you're running your map. If you want single family or you prefer condo, if you want trend periods monthly or current or quarterly, and do you want to see cities, zip, and county. Now, there was a section that we had before in our tabs when you're running a CMA report that actually gave you graphs with this information. That tab has been removed, so I'm not sure where else this is going to be placed. So at this point, you may not see much information there, but I know this market trends was actually removed. If you go down further, neighbor reports, you can have additional neighbors if you want. You can pull more, you can type in distance, how far you want to go out, and do you want them the same subdivision, same cities, that whichever choice, and do you want the property images, which I do. Your profile report, that was some more of the information with your school and businesses. This will allow you to select schools, how far they are. Do you want private, public, both? And on the right here is everything that's being included for your schools. You can see everything's checkmarked. If there's specific schools you don't want to include in the report, you can remove them. So maybe you're not concerned about adult education in the area, you can remove that. If you want to include it, you just checkmark it. And the last thing will be businesses. So same as schools, you can adjust how far they are, how many you're going to see per category, and what you want to include. So if you want to include everything, you can. If I don't want automotive services in the area, or I'm not concerned about banking, whatever it might be, you can remove those sections. Just uncheck them. Okay, so that is everything here. Again, you can always come back and make changes again. We're going to go to the left and do our email signature. And go to the left side of your screen. This will show up whenever you send an email from Realist. So when I was sending those reports, at the bottom, this information appeared. So you can type in your information, you can change your font size, you want to bold, your colors of your font, all that can be changed here. So if you want to type this in now, you can. I can just do that, and then we're going to be saving our changes in a second after this. I will stop here for a second to see if there's any other questions. Is there anything, Deb?
No, we're good.
I did say something about, was this answered? Shelley had asked a question.
Yep, that was a good, yeah.
We did answer it. Okay.
Yeah.
Make sure. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So email signature, everyone can have your signatures put in, and again, you can come back and adjust this later too. Oh, last thing here on the left side where it says map, if you wanted to automatically draw those parcel lines, like including them, it looks like it removed it when it made a change. It will automatically have those lines. So when I open up Realist and I look at my map and I zoom in, I like having them automatically because I want to find a property quickly without typing in an address, and I can just find it on the map. Maybe I don't have the address. I can just click on it and get the information right then and there without having to go to my boundaries and draw my parcel lines in. So if you want to include it, you can. If you don't, you don't have to. The very last thing we're going to do is save our changes. So bottom right corner, save changes. And everything you just did, save for you as a default at this point. And we should be set. So we are done with our preferences. And I'm just going to hit back here to go back to our main screen. Top left corner takes you back to the main screen of Realist. And if you look in the top right corner, and I do also have this in your handout, there's a question mark to the right of the gear. This also has some tutorials and some help pages and help guides for you. So if there's more information that maybe you're not finding in the ones we've created, there is some more here for you. So hopefully that helps out. So I am open now to questions.
Oh, good. We had Matthew Vale ask, can we print envelopes instead of labels?
It does not give an option for envelopes. At this point, it's just the labels. And then these postcards, now maybe when the postcards come in, and hopefully they are able to do this, maybe you are able to adjust sizes to an actual envelope size so you can print on it. Now you can actually, Matt, what I would do is I would export this to Excel and you can print anything you'd like. And again, the export's in the bottom left corner here, underneath your listings right here. You've got all the properties here, check mark them, and then you've got your export. So you can customize it and select exactly what you want included, and then use your Excel spreadsheet and create whatever you like. Hopefully that answers the question. Is there any other questions?
I think we're good.
Oh, wow. Okay, perfect. And we're just 5 minutes over, so I'm sorry. I know we had a delay with audio issues. So hopefully I was able to cover everything and I didn't go through too fast or I didn't lose anybody. Again, those handouts on the right side of your screen, you should have a little section that says handouts 2. Open that up. They're 2 PDFs. Click on them. It will download right to your computer. There's all the step-by-steps. And again, you also have your little question mark here in the top right corner, and you've got your help and tutorial guides here. Okay, and those will help you also. So hopefully this was helpful. Again, anything you need to do in here, you can go directly from Paragon right into text, and whether it's BS&A or your Realist text. And also you can go from your quick action links. So you've got your red one for your Realist, you got your blue one here for your BS&A. All right, I am here still. If there's any other questions, you can send a chat. If you'd like to talk, you can put your hand up and we can unmute you. I'm happy to help out with anything else. I would have preferred to be in a classroom with all of you, but obviously with this time, we are unable to do that. So hopefully these virtual classes are, so please come to as many as you'd like. And, Deb, is there anything else that you want to add, or is there any other chats or questions?
Well, I think it's really awesome that you didn't have to travel down to Monroe to go see our members down there. Or
Yeah.
not our pseudo members, right? So it's a nice, easy travel day. 'Cause I don't know if you guys saw any snow a little bit ago, but it was snowing up here in St. Clair. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is. Mid-April snow, only Michigan. I have to love it.
Yeah. I mean, I love the snow, but in April it's aggravating.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Okay,
Right, well,
any other questions, Deb?
I just wanted to say thank you, Lisa, for another great webinar. For y'all that know Lisa, she was actually the one that trained me when I came to the MLS from the association side of it. And she was hired on for a short stint, and then we never let her go.
It's only been 10 years. I haven't been here there that long. So I don't mind. I love it. I love it. I do enjoy this. I do really enjoy because I get to meet a lot of great agents and at least help them out. So please come back again to any of these webinars, sign them up. Debbie does send emails out with links to get to it. They're also in Paragon. You can find them under your resources. And you do also have an area there where there is class registration. It is under class registration. Recorded webinars are in here and online classes. So they're under education, under your resources, and then you can come back to some more of our classes. So I hope to see some more of you in our classes. And again, if there's any questions, tech support is always there to help you too. So please take advantage of that. Also, MLS documents, we do have more handouts. So if you do go to your MLS documents in Paragon, you do have an education folder in here too. We have 70 handouts in here, and these are broken in sections. So you can find something specific in Paragon. Maybe you need just help with contacts, you can find it. If you need the BS&A help, it's all in here. So anything you need, these are all PDFs to follow. And I hope everybody has a great day. Everyone stay safe and healthy. And I hope to see everybody soon. Thanks, Deb.
Great. Thank you, Lisa. Bye. Bye, everybody.